protecting our democracy.
We shall not be ruled, protecting our democracy. We shall not be ruled,
Just like a
just like a standing united. We shall not be ruled.
last time, everybody.
We shall not be ruled. We shall not be ruled. Just like a standing standard. We shall not be ruled.
You sound so powerful. So we want to sing a song with you about the First Amendment, and here's your part. Nobody gonna hold us back. No bully gonna knock us down. No fear gonna silence us. No order gonna shut us up. And here's how it goes. Nobody gonna hold us back. No bully gonna knock us down. No fear gonna silence us. No order gonna shut us up. Nobody gonna hold us back. No bully.
No bully gonna knock us
No
down.
fear.
Fear's gonna silence us.
No order. Shut us. Keep it going now. Hold us
back. No bully gonna knock us down. No fear gonna silence us. No order gonna shut us up. Nobody gonna hold us back. No bully gonna knock us down. No fear gonna silence us. No order gonna shut us up. Nobody gonna hold us back. Nobody gonna knock us down. No fear gonna silence us. No order gonna shut us up. Nobody gonna hold us back. Nobody gonna knock us down. No religion gonna silence us. No order gonna shut us up. Nobody gonna hold us back. Nobody gonna knock us down. No fear gonna silence us. No order gonna shut us up. Nobody gonna hold us back. Nobody gonna knock us down. No fear gonna silence us. No order gonna shut us up. Nobody gonna hold us back. People. No fear gonna silence us. No order gonna shut us up.
Be vocal.
Okay. All right, I have a quick announcement. So we have a child that's gotten separated from her family. So Elizabeth, if you are here, your sister Charlotte is waiting for you at the bandstand. However, if you are close to the stage, come and find her who, as you can see, is wearing really bright yellow. All right? So Elizabeth, you can hear me, and you don't know how to find your sister Charlotte, make your way up here to the stage, and we will get you to her. She is waiting for you at the bandstand. All right? Okay. So with that, I'm going to hand the mic over to my co-MC, Rasan, to bring up our next speakers.
If you could see what I see from here, and what I see is organizations that receive federal funding that are in jeopardy. What I see are people who have volunteered in other nations and served in other nations, and that work is in jeopardy. What I see It's people who are living in this community, contributing in this community, and are being disappeared without due process. What I see is people who care about death and destruction and violence in other parts of the world, particularly in Gaza. That's what I said. What I see is a mass of people who said we will not tolerate anymore. What I see is a mass of people who say dissent is patriotic. What I see is a mass of people that say ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, because the power of the people don't stop. And some of that power of the people comes together through organized labor. Let's give it up for labor. We've got some strong unions here in Massachusetts. We've got some powerful organizers here in Massachusetts. And so our next speakers are coming on behalf of labor. Chrissy Lynch from AFL-CIO. Am I introducing y'all at the same time? And Jessica Tang from AFT Massachusetts. Are we doing it? And Rich Cotell from ATE. Oh, AFGE. All right. We're working it out.
Good afternoon, working class people! I am a proud union woman, and I am here to say, hands off our jobs, hands off our bodies, hands off our services, hands off our democracy. I am honored to be the head of the Massachusetts Federation of Labor, AFL-CIO. We represent over 800 locals and hundreds of thousands of working people in this state. And no matter what you do for work, work connects us all. And an injury to one is an injury to all. It unites all the working class around the thing: livable wages, health care, retirement security, respect on the job. All of those things are under assault right now from this Trump administration. They are making it crystal clear that they are on a power trip to enrich themselves at the expense of the working class, at the expense of the Constitution, and at the expense of our democracy. They are causing immeasurable suffering just to fund more tax breaks for their billionaire pals and more shady government contracts for their billionaire pals. They've already ripped up the rights and the union rights of hundreds of thousands of federal, weaponizing the National Labor Relations Board. Unelected billionaire Musk has the personal data on tens of millions of Americans, which are now also in the hands of tech bros. They've taken a chainsaw to the very federal agencies meant to protect working class people, like the consumer finance, people who want to take out a mortgage or a student loan for their kids, how are going to have an easier time being ripped off by greedy fraudsters like Elon Musk. They are kidnapping working people off the streets who are here legally for exercising their First Amendment. It is impossible to keep up with the unprecedented and endless attacks on working class Americans, the institutions in the history that is the bedrock of our democracy. They are using intimidation to silence people. They are governing through lies and through hate to sow working class division. They are trying to keep working people pointing fingers at each other, blaming each other for each other's pain, based on what we look like and where we come from and who we love and what type of work we do. This is meant to divide and distract the working class so that they can seize even more profits off of our labor and seize even more power for themselves. And I am honored to be leading a labor federation that rejects that hate, that rejects that division. am here to say an immigrant does not stand between an American worker and a good job. A billionaire does. And we're not going to be pushed around by billionaire bullies. An attack on one and an attack on all. Hands off our jobs. Hands off our unions. Hands off our services. Organized labor is with you. And we won't stand by while any worker is bullied. Certainly not by this billionaire boys club. Now is the time to kick some ass for the working class, together, using only the weapons of love, the weapons of compassion, and the weapon of solidarity. I'm now going to pass it to two union leaders who I am so proud to be flanked by all the time. And after we hear from Jess from the educators and Rich from the federal workers, we're going to hear from our kick-ass union band, the Dropkick Murphys. So I'm going to pass it over to Rich Couture.
Good afternoon. As you know, this administration has launched an unprecedented attack against federal workers I represent, firing us by the thousands, bargaining rights, and trying to bust our... All because this president views us as obstacles to his consolidation of power. Meanwhile, Elon Musk, an unelected billionaire, is leading the charge to get rid of federal employees by any means, to close federal offices all over the country, and to gut entire agencies solely for billionaire greed. Because our missions hurt their bottom line. Make no mistake, your rights, your benefits, and your services are all in jeopardy. Cutting Social Security workers and closing offices actually cuts your Social Security benefits because they don't mean anything if you can't get them. Cutting 80,000 VA workers nationwide is breaking our nation's promise to care for our veterans. Cutting 20,000 HHS workers will not make our country healthier. Cutting EPA workers will not make our air cleaner. Cutting DOL workers will not make our workplaces safer. And I could go on and on and on through the government, but I'm on the clock. If they prevail, we will go back to a spoil system in which the only qualification to be a federal employee is loyalty to a president. Despite the fact that we all raised our right hands and took an oath to uphold and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Our democracy is at risk, and so are the services that we provide to all. AFGE, the labor movement, and groups like the Federal Unionist Network have joined, have joined to save our services and to save our democracy. We need to tell Trump, hands off federal workers. But my friends, it is not enough to defend the status quo. We all know that the system has not worked for working people. The billionaire class is now waging war against the federal civil service, is the same class that has enabled this administration to embark on its war against democracy. They have profited from this system at our expense, and so now we must make a choice. Do we keep the same failed status quo? Or do we want a new deal for working people? If we want a fair America, if we want an America that works for all working people, it is up to all of us here to build that America. We must leave this inspiring rally today and resolve to do the good work of organizing our communities and organizing our workplaces to realize an America without kings and without oligarchs. An America that fully embraces liberty and justice for all. Let's get to work. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Jessica Tang, and proud president of the American Federation of Teachers. Massachusetts. Now, what is happening to the federal workers is impacting all of our sectors and certainly public education as well. The federal work fight is our fight too, and our fight, everyone's fight, because unions and public education are foundational to our democracy. And so we are here to say hands off our schools, hands off our unions, and hands off our communities. As a teacher and as union leader, we know, again, that solidarity is how we fight back against the bullies. Now, AFG's fight, AFG and our federal workers, their fight is literally our fight. Because close to half of the federal workers, the Department of Education, have been illegally fired already. Their supports, ranging from helping students to get grants and loans for colleges, ensuring students don't face discrimination, and so much more. But it's not just the workers who are supporting our schools that are getting cut, it's the funding itself. Since January 20th, millions of dollars in grants that were already dispersed have been rescinded and canceled. This is funding for tutoring, for literacy, for before and after school programs, for fixing dilapidated, underfunded school buildings, putting in HVAC, for example, in Springfield, where we need to improve the air quality in our schools, and building a school-based health center in New Bedford. With executive order also dismantling the Department of Education, there is so much more at risk. But we were proud to be part of the first lawsuit to sue to stop the dismantling of the Department of Education. And we will use all of our tools, whether in the courthouse or on the streets, to fight back. But the blows keep coming. Just 2 days ago, the White House said that they would cut Title I funding. That's funding for low-income students. If states didn't comply with equity inclusion. This is not just about race and gender. This is also about protecting students with disabilities, making sure there are wheelchair ramps. That's what's at stake here. And the Supreme Court yesterday, in a 5-4 decision, upheld the federal government's authority to stop grants to help fill teacher shortages and through teacher pipelines. This is all quite simply an abuse of power. Whether it's taking away funding for our schools, our libraries, higher ed research that is literally life-saving research, whether it's Social Security, Medicaid, or stripping workers of collective bargaining, gutting union contracts, illegally detaining and deporting workers like Lalo Zaffarino or Kilmore Abrego Garcia, students like Rumesa Ozturk and Mahmoud Khalil. It is a clear violation of the rule of law. Now this is all a part of the playbook to replace democracy with autocracy. The government is supposed to help everyone have a better life, not just the few at the expense of all, or of many. And the abuse of power is hurting the most vulnerable, including our children and those who have the least. So what we're asking for you today is to continue to show up and continue to have courage. Things will get worse before they get better because authoritarians create chaos and cruelty. And they want us to stay divided, which is why we must stay united in our resistance. In my classroom, I had a poster that read, "If not us, then who? If not now, then when?" And what we know from history is that justice can prevail when we continue to speak up, speak out, take action, and we must refuse to comply with the abuse of power, or as Tim Snyder says, refuse to obey in advance. Now, you all are here because you're paying attention to what's happening, but 57% of our Americans get their news by accident. They're not reading the news. They aren't paying attention in the same way that we are. So as Rich shared, we must continue to organize, reach our friends, our families, our neighbors, people who don't see themselves as activists, and we have to grow our numbers. And for many of you, this may be your first rally, and we are so glad that you are here because we need more first-time activists. Today is not the end, but the beginning. So please get active in your union, form a union, join an organization, stay informed, stay involved, and don't lose hope. Each one of us can inspire another, and that is how we build the movement for democracy. And so I'll end with this. This is what democracy looks like. This is what we need to protect. So when I say, show me what democracy looks like, you say, this is what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me what democracy looks like. Show me, what does democracy look like? Solidarity forever, everyone.
Give it up for our unions.
Okay, so quick announcement. So if any of you saw there was a drone going overhead, and that was a little concerning to me, so I want to let you know that drone is connected to us. And I also want to let you know that that drone was able to see all the way down Tremont Street, which is filled with bodies. So I don't know how we estimate these things, but somebody told me the number 100,000 of us have shown up. So this is what I also want to do. I want, we've kept saying that there is space over on the right side, and there's a little space here over on the left side. If you can hear me and you are stuck in the street and can't get here, I want you to know that there's still a little space for you. So if there are folks down Tremont Street and you haven't given up, you are welcome. Come down, fill it on that left side, fill it in over on this side. I think some of you know we have a couple more speakers, and then there's this group you may have heard of called the Dropkick Murphys. And so we want to make sure that everybody that came, that pressed their way here in the cold and in the rain, is able to make their way through as best we possibly can. So if you can allow folks to come in, we're going to try to make sure that they are able to see and hear. And with no further ado, I'm going to hand it back to my co-MC to tell you about our last two speakers.
All right, y'all. I just want to make a plug because there's a lot of organizations that have been involved in this event today. We've got 5051. Where y'all at? We've got UU Mass Action. We've got Individual Mass. We've got the Massachusetts AFL-CIO, the Swing Blue Alliance. And there's a whole list of organizations who have been supporting this work and coordinating the effort and are going to continue to do the work after today. And so if you want to find out more about who's behind this and what are some other opportunities to get engaged and involved, there's a whole document that you can access on Bitly. Some people are like, what's Bitly? bit.ly/hands-off-Boston, one word. If you got your cell phone, type it in. You're probably not getting any service right now because there's so many of y'all. But I'm going to say it again, Bitly, bit.ly/hands-off-Boston. And if you can't figure that out, ask your grandchild or your child. One of the other things that's important, and Labor was talking about this, is for us to come together and for us to be in community with one another. There's some hard times coming down the road. Let's not be confused about it. There's a lot coming down the pike. Let's not be confused about it. But the way that we survive this, the way that we have always survived this, is by standing together and uniting together. Mutual aid organization. Who's down with mutual aid? Get involved with mutual aid. Help your neighbors out. Help your friends out. Help your community out. Whether it's your church, your synagogue, your mosque, whatever it is, find community. Build community. The people united can never be defeated. 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 Give it up for yourselves, Massachusetts. So they say not all heroes wear capes. And that is true. But today we do have a hero who actually wears capes. As the proud father of a trans son, it is the work of people like Chastity Bowick and trans resistance who make it possible for people in the trans community to know that there are people who believe in them and who are fighting for them. And are fighting against lies and the misinformation about our friends and our families and our loved ones and our communities. Let's give it up, Chastity Bowick.
Afternoon, Boston. I often used to sit and think, how did we get here? But the more I thought about it, it didn't matter. The real question is, where do we go from here? As this current administration pushes us back in time, we must stand up and resist. We can't continue to cry over who voted for these racist bigots. What we need now is unity, focus, and action. Because while we argue amongst ourselves, our rights are being stripped away piece by piece. You're a woman, an elder on Medicaid, or a transgender person. We've allowed too many elected officials to sit comfortably in office without truly fighting for us. We elect these people into office, and some of them have refused to denounce the attacks on transgender and gender-expansive lives. Some of these politicians are staying silent to the fact that there are trans immigrants who fled their country to avoid violence and death for who they are. We voted these people into office, and we can vote them out of office. Let's support our marginalized community members who may want to run for office and really have our best interests at heart. It is time to support candidates from our own communities, people who know the stakes, who live the reality, and who will show up when it matters. No more tax dollars for officials who won't speak our names or defend our rights. Their silence says they don't care. As a black trans woman, I'm used to this country trying to erase me and my people. They have been trying for decades. But we are still here because we stick together and we take care of our community. What they won't give us, we build ourselves. As the founder of the first transitional house for trans people in New England, we build it ourselves. They want this country to stay divided. because a divided nation is easier to manipulate one that stands together. We do not have to play into their hands. I urge you all to take a stand against the division and find common grounds with those who may have a different background than you. Let's find ourselves, but also the love communities that we may not be a part of. Communities united in love can resist betrayal, dishonesty, and outright hatred from the system to protect us. They have always drilled into us that America was the greatest country. They lied. America will be the greatest country when it stops attacking the very people who built it. America will be the greatest country when we all can say, hands off our bodies, hands off our education, hands off trans identities, hands off trans youth, hands off reckless deportation of innocent immigrants. Social Security, hands off USAID, hands off free speech, hands off science, hands off our elections, hands off federal funding for the people who need it the most. Hands off democracy. Hands off. Thank you.
All right, all right, all right. So now I talked about the pain that's coming and how we need to rally together and be in support and community with one. Even still that there is this pain and hardship, we're gonna be all right. Right? In the words of the great prophet of our times, Kendrick Lamar, we gonna be all right. 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 Do you hear me? Do you feel me? We gonna be all right. We gonna be all right. All right, let's keep it moving. We're gonna be all right because there's people like Kylie Bemis, who is a poet and a scientist, a member of the Zuni tribe, and advocates for athletes in the trans community and in Native communities. Let's give it up for Kylie Bemis.
Hello, my friends. Hello, Boston. Hello, Massachusetts. Hello, America. Once upon a time, there was a dream. A dream rising from the land of my ancestors, from before this was America. A dream so sacred and so inevitable that even Spanish colonizers and British colonizers could not deny it. A dream that so inspired America's founders, they forged a new nation dedicated to its purpose. Once there was a dream consecrated in blood on the battlefield at Gettysburg and on Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma. Once a dream rang out from the steps of the Lincoln Memorial, and still it echoes today. Now, we are a nation trapped in a long nightmare. A tyrant lives in the White House. He sends swarms of officers to steal our neighbors off our streets. He imprisons us across seas for pretend offenses. He denies us our birthrights, our genders, and our bodily autonomies. He destroys our lives and our livelihoods with policies to harass us and eat out the substance of our communities. That nightmare is not new to us. It is the soul of our nation. It has haunted us since colonization. It has haunted us since we first enslaved one another. It must haunt us lest we forget and grow lazy in our long march toward liberty. But the dream of America is that America is ours to shape, ours to emancipate. And the truth of the matter is that we cannot be here just to tell the agents of tyranny to take their hands off America. We must be here to rise, to reach out, and to put our own hands on our own country. We must dedicate ourselves to each other. They try to divide us. We must dedicate ourselves to peace, even as they prepare to make war on us. We must dedicate ourselves to our dream of America, even as they label us radicals and rebels. We must find the bravery to say once again, give me liberty or give me death. Because we know our dream will rise. We here today must resolve whether it takes a month or a year or 100 years for the sake of all the children born in America today and tomorrow and every day after. We will keep that dream alive. America will be free for all of us, or America will be free for none of us. And America must be free. Let that dream rise from the revolutionary roads of Boston to the majestic mountains and valleys of Los Angeles and every city and town in between, from sea to shining sea, from the sacred land of my ancestors, from our voices rising together today, let us sing forever and always that America must be free, America must be free, America must be free. Let me hear you. America must be free. America must be free.
Yes. Yes. So we are about to close by singing and dancing and listening to the Dropkick Murphys. But I want to give a shout out to those folks who have stood up here, have chosen to be the embodiment of the America that we love. Thank you. And I want to take a moment to share with you, not in an alarmist perspective, but from a place of keeping ourselves informed. You heard folks talk about all the different executive orders that were by the president over these last couple of months. And particularly, it was overwhelming for me that he began that on January 20th, which was the day we celebrate Martin Luther King Day. There was just something so ironic about doing. One of the things that he did, one of those ones I think, but one of them was that on January 20th, he gave a 90-day deadline for a joint report from the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Defense And so he, in many ways, I think President Trump has learned from those who have gone before him and has used some of the same tactics that were being used in Nazi Germany 85 years ago. And declaring martial law was one of the ways that this happened. And so, in a deep irony, he wrote this executive order on January 20th, on the day we celebrate Martin Luther King Day, and it's 90 days from that on Easter Sunday. And so, we know that that ruling is coming. And so, I want to lift this up because I know there are many issues that we care about. Many issues. And if martial law is declared in this country, that will be a challenge to every single thing that we care about. And so I want to make sure that we are aware and we are raising our voices around this issue. And so I also want to let you know that we, not just here in Massachusetts, but we are part of a movement of people, not just in this country, but around the world, that are paying attention. There are more than 1,200 rallies happening right now around the world. Including in London and across Europe, in some parts of Asia, although it's nighttime there, so I think they're already done. But there are folks all around the world standing with us. And so I want to now welcome to the stage the folks that are helping us to bring a little bit of a soundtrack to this moment. I've been given this list, a couple of folks, the state senators, Jamie Eldridge, Will Brownsberger, James Arena de Rosa, Manny Cruz, Donahue, Rita Mendez, John Moran, and Steve Owens, as the elected officials who have RSVP'd and who are here, some of them, we can't see them all. Oh, and then Maura Dolan and Tanisha Sullivan. And then I want to lift up that the names, the people that you will hear next, these guys have lent their music to labor and democracy since they first formed their band in Quincy, Massachusetts. "29 years later, they haven't forgotten where they come from. And they're still here to play their music for the people in times of need. Boston, give a round warm of applause for the Dropkick Murphys.
Oh! How you doing, everybody? I gotta tell you, 100,000 people on City Hall Plaza to protest what's going on in this country. It warms our fucking heart, I'll tell you that. No better place to do it than right here in Boston. So I want to thank all the organizers that have worked so hard to pull this off on such short notice. Give them more round of applause, please. So people said, why are the Dropkick Murphys here today? We're here for the people. Why are you here? You're here for the people. Who are we here for? Who are we here for? Who are we here for? Hell yeah! Are you guys all ready to hear a little music? Here's a brand new song about the times we're in right now. Throughout Throughout centuries in every country we face the wrath and felt the pain of the tyrant's sword of the henchman's boot for another rich man's gain. In the endless quest for wealth and power, they stomp us down with great disdain beneath the false god's banner and the name of all that's vain. Through crime and crusade, our labor it's been stolen. We've been robbed of our freedom. We've been held down and beholden to the bosses and the bankers who never gave their share of any blood, of any sweat, of any tears. Who stand with us? Who tell us everything is fine? Who'll stand with us? Because this treatment is a crime. The working people fuel the engine. While you yank the chain, we fight the wars and build the buildings for someone else's gain. So tell me, who will stand with us? And as time rolls on, not a single thing has changed, and the wealth gap's only grown as we all point the blame. We're at the throats of one another, though we share a single fate. And the golden few laugh on and on as we all take the bait. Through crime and crusade, our labor it's been stolen. We've been robbed of our freedom. We've been held down and beholden to the bosses and the bankers who never gave their share of any blood, of any sweat, of any tears. Who'll stand with us? Don't tell us everything is fine. Who'll stand with us? Because this treatment is a crime. The working people fuel the engine. While you yank the chain, we fight the wars and build the buildings for someone else's gain. So tell me, who will stand with us? Through crime and crusade, our labor it's been stolen. We've been robbed of our freedom. We've been held down and beholden. Who'll stand with us? Don't tell us everything is fine. Who'll stand with us? Because this treatment is a crime. The working people fuel the engine. While you yank the chain, we fight the wars and build the buildings for someone else's gain. So tell me, who will stand with us? Tell me, who will stand with us? Yeah, Boston! All right. Listen, Dropkick Murphys, and I wish so many more bands would be doing it, but we'll dive head first into this fight because that's what we've been doing since we started in 1996. So we want to keep the guy that wants to be a king from accomplishing his goal. We want to keep the guy who wants to be a king from ruining our good name around the rest of the world, for creating his Trump Gaza, to creating his fucking Trump mansions in Russia. I don't know what the fuck he wants in the end. But we don't want that shit here. I'm sorry for my language, by the way. I swear. Anyway, here's one that I don't know if we can do any better than the Good Trouble Brass Band, I'll tell you that, but we're going to do it anyway. Here's an old song from the Civil Rights Movement and the labor movement called Which Side Are You On? And we're going to need your voices on this one. Come on, you good workers, good news to you I'll tell of how the good old the union till every battle is won. Which side are you on? 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 They say in Harlan County there are no neutrals there. You'll either be a union man or a thug for James Blair. Which side are you on? 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 Oh, workers, can you stand it? Oh, tell me how you can. Will you be a lousy scab or will you be a man? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Come on! Which side are you on? Don't scare for the bosses, don't you listen to their lies. Us poor folks haven't got a chance unless we organize. Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you on? Which side are you It's so amazing to read all these amazing signs that people made using their voices. God bless you. But I got taken off guard by this one sign that was out there, and it said, Ken Casey, I went to UMass Boston with you. God bless you guys. All right, so this last song, we want to say we've been playing this one for a long time. We played it on a lot of picket lines. We played it a lot of places at the meeting, and I think it means a lot here today. It's called the Workers' Song. It goes out to all those federal employees that are losing their jobs. Yeah, this one's for the worker who toils night and day, by hand and by parade, to earn your pay, who for centuries long past, for no more than your bread, have bled for your countries and counted it. In the factories and mills, in the shipyards and mines, we've often been told to keep up with the times, for our skills are not needed. They streamline the job, and with slide rule and stopwatch, our pride they have robbed. We're the first ones to stop, we're the first ones to die, we're the first ones in line for that pie in the sky, and we're always the last when the crane is shed out, for the worker is working when the fat cat's about. And when the sky darkens and the prospect is war, who's given a gun and then pushed to the fore and expected to die for the land of our birth? Though we've never owned one lousy handful of earth, we're the first ones to stop, we're the first ones to die, we're the first ones in line for that pie in the sky, and we're always the last when the crane is shed out, for the worker is working when the fat cat's about. Everyone get those signs up there one more time. Come on. first ones to starve, we're the first ones to die. We're the first ones in line for that pie in the sky. And we're always the last when that cream is shared out. For the worker is working when the fat cat's about. We're the first ones to starve, we're the first ones to die. We're the first ones in line for that pie in the sky. And we're always the last when the claim is shared out. For the worker is working when the fat cat's about. And all of these things the worker has done, from tilling the fields to carrying with an yoke to the plow, since time first began, and always expected to carry the can. Let's go, Boston! Again!
Give it up again for the Dropkick Murphys!
Yeah!
All right, y'all, so the rain is coming down. But we can't close out without taking a group photo. And I'm glad we're gonna show that we are tougher than a little bit of rain. So, all right, here we go. All right, so we're gonna let you go. We know the folks need to go home, but I want to challenge you to do 3 things. All right, you ready? The first thing is that this was sponsored by more than 100 organizations. Some of you are here because you're already in those organizations. But if you are not involved in a local group that is standing up and organizing in your community, I need you to sign up for one today. They're all around the state, they're all around the communities, they're all on different issues. You can sign up. First thing. Second of all, you came here, maybe you came with some people. We'll be gathering again soon. I got an email from Bill McGibbon. There's some stuff being organized later this month. I want you to think about 2 people that are not here today that you want to bring the next time we gather. 2 people who you're concerned about the state of our country, but they've been sitting on this. I want you to think about reaching out to them. And then the final piece. We talked about this idea of we the people. But if we're honest, part of the reason we got into this situation is that our country has gotten too divided. We've gotten to a place where we can't even talk to each other. We don't even have the same sense of reality. So I want you to think of 2 people, one close to you that you can sit down with in person, and another, how many people know somebody that lives in another state? I want you to think about a person that you are going to reach out to and have a conversation. Not a badgering session, not where you tell them all the ways that they are wrong, but where you will sit down and listen and connect with them. If we are a true we, then our president cannot turn us against each other. So I'm going to invite you to those 3 actions. Sign up to an organization, choose 2 people that you're bringing out the next time, and then choose 2 people that you don't necessarily agree with that you are going to connect with in these next couple of weeks. That is our call to action.
All right, y'all. Mic check, mic check. All right. All right. I got some good news. The little girl that was missing has been found and reconnected. So as we depart, a couple things. Extend grace. There's a lot of y'all out here. Be gracious, be kind. Make room for other people. Let other people go before you. Next thing, clean up. I know some of y'all's mamas raised y'all better than that. Clean up behind yourselves. If you left trash, take it with you. And remember, the people united will never, never, never be defeated. Let's stay united. Let's move in love. Let's build future that we will see. Because they take their hands off of Massachusetts. Hands off. Hands off. Peace and blessings, y'all.